What's going on, guys? Real quick before the video starts, this is more of a professional wrestling breakdown video that I don't normally do on this channel, and I actually won't continue to do on this channel. I am getting back into covering and talking about and watching professional wrestling. It's a big love of mine. It has been since I was a kid, but I don't know that this is the right channel for that. So this will be the last one probably I do on this channel. But if you want to see more pro wrestling, daily coverage, things I'll be doing in that space, check out my Twitch channel. We're going to be live, I would like to say 4 to 5 days a week. So twitch.tv/the Wade Concept. I'll probably change the name. It is what it is. But also check out the YouTube channel, What We Saying, because that's where all of this content will live from now on. But for this one, I just wanted to give you an introduction to it. So hope you enjoy the video. Folks, let's talk about this, honestly, once in a very, very long time, long-form interview that you're going to see with one of the greatest, if not the greatest professional wrestler of all time, Mr. John Cena. He doesn't do a lot of these podcasts or anything like that, so I will give credit where credit is due. Logan Paul, the host of Impaulsive, got John Cena to come on his show, and he talked to him for an hour and 30 minutes. We probably won't watch the whole thing, but I want to take a look at this because there was a lot of clips that came out on Twitter that were super intriguing to me to get a little bit of a look into John Cena's past and the wrestling business stuff that he doesn't really open up about. John has been one of the better guys for a while, up until recently, about keeping kayfabe. So we're going to get to hear some stories from back in the day that were genuinely awesome to see as a kid. Because again, you're talking about my era growing up in the early 2000s of still being that 10 to 16, 17-year-old. So John Cena was the man pots and pans. And I want to see more about what made him that, even though I think I know a little bit of the story here. I want to see that relation he makes to Logan and see it. Apparently this was a really well done interview. So let's take a look. John Cena on Logan Paul's podcast, Impaulsive, the breakdown. Let's go.
You are one of the greatest wrestlers to have ever done it. I do go and clap for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have John Cena in the house.
Two times. It's foolish.
It's an honor, Mr. Cena.
We're all clapping. We're all just clapping.
It's an understatement.
Hey, yo, John, you can't say that, bro. You can't say that.
I got to know, how the fuck are you fluent in Mandarin?
So fluent is a stretch.
Okay.
I'm better than I was yesterday. And
is it just in 1080p? Yeah, I have no idea about that.
10 to 12 years now. And
it's fluent?
The how of that is WWE. WWE did not have to do this, and they offer all talent. You qualify for this as well. They will assist in paying for your secondary education, and they will give you a free language program.
Are you serious?
You can learn it just like I can.
I am going to learn Spanish.
And when they debuted all these things, I'm the old crusty veteran sitting at the front of the talent meeting with everybody, and I'm like, these kids don't know how good they got it. They can get a college education and learn a language. I got to turn up and say that. No, I'm not going to turn around and tell them to do anything. I'm going to do it. So on my time off, I took advantage of the program, had a tutor come to the house, and just started from there.
That is unbelievable.
No, it's very believable. They offered it for free.
I'm going to take them up on that.
I thought it was a good opportunity to learn. And
that's another thing. John lives in Florida. So this motherfucker was between doing, what do they do? 300 days a year in the WWE, right? You're on the road, traveling, doing shows. The times he's at home, he's learning, man, bro. This is why guys like him, The Rock, even Logan, Jake, these guys are so ridiculously successful because the moments they have that are free time is not free. They're doing something always. They have this thing, that thing, fucking main thing, side thing. They have everything. So they're always expanding. He talked about compound interest a second ago. Imagine compound interest. He's speaking on investments, right? Putting your money in certain places, watching it grow, reinvesting that money into something else, watching it grow there. Imagine you compound your interest in life. I'm gonna hit y'all with some fucking 250 3D chess IQ shit. That's what he's doing. He's compounding his interest in life. He's taking time that he has left over, that he doesn't use for fucking sleep, I guess, to expand in a little side project, something that can, in some ways, come back to help him in his main deal.
One of our interactions, and we talked about keeping certain interactions off camera, but I'm going to share this for the world.
Good.
Is also an indicator of how much you love WWE. I'm in my locker room one day, kicking it with Kevin, laying back. I hear a knock. Who could that be?
Great sound effect.
Opens the door.
I'm the only dude who still does the shave and a haircut 2 bits gag.
I knew it was someone. It's John Cena. I go,
I knew it's someone.
Well, welcome. What's up? And man, you just expressed to me that the love you had for this company and your gratitude for me for showing it the respect that it honestly deserves. But it was not shocking, but it was so nice to see off camera in a private space really how much you love the WWE. You said it's your life, and the amount of
bro, you got to think about this, and I know that Logan is experiencing that for the first time in person, and I'm sure when John Cena says something, you remember that. But think about the amount of time John Cena carried the WWE, right, on his back. Now, granted, a lot of those years, the product was tailored toward a very young audience base, but from like 2007 to like 2016, this dude put the fucking company on his back and just walked with Fruity Pebbles shirts through fucking hellfire for TV deals, through spots. And trust me, he benefited a lot from it, but so did the WWE. Without John Cena, the WWE doesn't have the things they have today with these streaming deals and the Netflix deal we talked about and XYZ, whatever it is. John is a massive reason they got to where they were, but he also, from what you hear behind the scenes, maybe I'll talk about it more here, he was in the back coaching young wrestlers. He came up through OVW, right? Came up through the WWE developmental with him, Brock Lesnar, Batista, Randy Orton, all in the same class, and him not being the guy they looked at to say he's going to be the big star. That was Batista, that was Brock, that was Randy, third generation guy. So for him to be able to still, even with all the acting, even with the stuff years later, still have that love for the WWE decades down the line, of course he does, because that was his life.
You've been doing this for so long, from the OVW days, ruthless aggression.
Another huge failure.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. When you entered the WWE, they're like, who are you? What are you about? My name's John Cena. I'm about ruthless aggression. What was the storyline going in? Or were y'all just winging it?
So if I had it to do again, right, the reason it didn't work is because I wasn't there for Vince's ruthless aggression promo, and I was neither ruthless nor aggressive. So I looked the same as everybody else. It was basically a debut. We spoke off camera, and you expressed that now you just want to show them what you got. You want to show them what you're capable of, and you can do such amazing things. But so can everyone else. What sets people apart is the ability to believe. So when I come out and I slap Kurt Angle on the face and say ruthless aggression, everybody's like, great. And then 10 minutes into that match, one of the rowdiest buildings in the world, the Rosemont Horizon, everybody's like this. And it just wasn't gonna work. They filmed a little bit with The Undertaker afterwards, where he shook my hand and I was in awe. Someone who's aggressive and ruthless would have kicked him in the nuts.
Yeah.
So either I just didn't understand the opportunity I was being given.
That's an interesting point, man. You don't think about that in retrospect, but that's right. Like when John debuted, I don't even know what he was supposed to be, right? He was coming off the prototype gimmick in OVW, and he obviously had the look of a guy that Vince would like, but maybe not the necessary frame. He's a little shorter, but it's super interesting because, yeah, he was that ruthless aggression, and then the big slap, and then they have the match. But John's right. He was a carbon copy of babyface debut guy without any real reason to get behind him. This is what I say it to you guys about influencer boxing to a degree. Why are you different? Why are we watching? What makes you stand out? Now, obviously, boxing is a little different because you have the knockout, the win. In the WWE, it's almost all character driven. If you can't make people care whether they like you or they don't, you're done. You looked like every other normal babyface young wrestler, oiled up fucking before Dana White ever could. But it's interesting to go back to that point where he was talking about The Undertaker. Where he walks up and The Undertaker shakes his hand, da-da-da. Yeah, nah, he's right. He should have punched him in the fucking mouth. But again, he had no idea, and we're watching his kids. We didn't care about
Who's going to be the next Stone Cold? Who's going to be the next John Cena? And now it's like, who's going to be the next Roman Reigns? Sitting right there.
Maybe. I personally think it's Dominic Mysterio.
Shout out, Dom.
By the way,
Yeah.
I'll absolutely shout out Dom. Absolutely shout out. He's doing fantastic.
Wow, that's a big statement, man. Logan Paul is the next Roman Reigns. I mean, listen, here's the thing. If you legitimately think about it, right? Whether you like Logan or not, he brings a ton of eyeballs. He already has a massive following. He already gets a reaction out of the people. He does command an audience. We don't know what his social numbers what his audience brings to the program right now, because it doesn't look like when he's on the show they get a massive spike, but he's young. He's already super good at this as a wrestler. I don't know, man. He's got a ton of star power, but I don't know that he is full-time enough to be the next Roman Reigns. That's the real problem. I know Roman isn't full-time, but Roman was full-time to get to this point. They built Roman by being a full-time guy for years and years and years. Granted, it wasn't working the way they were building him, but you knew who Roman was. Even when you hated Roman as a babyface, you knew who he was, right? The big dog and the fucking dog food shit with Corbin.
And right away, with what you are willing to sacrifice in terms of your health and well-being with the moves that you do, I can tell that you give a shit. And that means a lot. You're not here to just do the thing once. You went from like special guest to full-time superstar in 5 minutes. And that's very refreshing. I think it speaks volumes to you understanding what the WWE can offer and how the WWE has changed.
Man, I really appreciate that. And we talked about this in the car.
I love that. I love what drives you, by the way. Always play.
Well, we talked for 2 hours, and Nikki.
Bro, it's true though. Whether you like Logan or not, and I say that every time I say something about Logan, but it's just the fucking case. He gets respect in the pro wrestling world because he took it seriously. Everything comes back to this, y'all? Really, everything comes back to this. It's so simple. Life lesson I'm gonna give you guys right now. In anything that you do, if you don't take it seriously, if you say one thing, and I'm talking to myself here. If you say one thing, I want to do X, I want to be this, I'm going to be that, and your actions do not match what you say you want to do or what you say you're going to do, people that are in that position that you are looking to say, I want to do that, help me do that, they're going to look at you and they're going to laugh, or they're going to shrug it off, or they're going to go, yeah, no, this is a waste of time. You need to do something else because you don't take it as serious as you say you want to take it. I said it in influencer boxing. I'm saying it to myself on camera because I feel like I need to do a little bit more of that recently. But one reason, whether people, again, I'm going to say it again, whether you like Logan or not, one reason that he is respected, at least in the pro wrestling world, and he has that United States belt sitting on his table right here. One reason for that is because he took it seriously. Now, I don't mean he took it seriously in the way that he just shows himself on screen. He took the business seriously. He took what people even now think is a business that's a big joke. And why does everybody watch fake fighting? We saw it today in the chat. He took it seriously because he looked at the people doing it, had an interest in it, wondered why, went and experienced it for himself, saw the severity and the reality of pro wrestling, and didn't just come in like every other celebrity that wants a guest spot, wants to have the big moment, and then kind of bounces. He fell in love with this shit. So it's why you don't hear people in the pro wrestling deal, slag off Logan. They don't talk shit about him outside of character stuff with Seth Rollins, but they see a guy that wants to come in and work. That's why you have John on his. One, because of the exposure, but it's why you have John agreeing to go on his podcast, Roman on his podcast, Randy on his podcast, Cody on his podcast, Triple H on his podcast. Everybody is on there because they wouldn't do it if they didn't think the guy was invested.
Are you on a strict diet?
No, diets are tough because they can only last so long. Do more of the healthy stuff, do less of the unhealthy stuff in a workout.
So how do you have that physique?
I keep track of all that stuff and look at the long-term economics, and they all match up.
But I assume you're hitting the gym pretty regularly. Like your
a
workout.
lot less nowadays, like 4 days a week, where I used to be like you in 6. But
That's
life,
freaking
travel,
crazy.
I have a different set of important priorities. The workday in WWE is a lot shorter than a workday on set. You'll do 12 on set, but then transportation's on either side.
Yeah.
So you're like,
That man said long-term economics, talking about his freaking lifting schedule. This is crazy. And his macros and his fucking diet.
I'm still absolutely drug-free for life. I get my testosterone tested every not every quarter, 3 times a year.
Will you say your level?
Do you know where you're at?
The last one was 840.
Whoa.
Damn, that's crazy. He said, I just want to make sure that John Cena is being transparent here. And I don't know that I can say that he is. But he said he's been 100% drug-free, which I'm kind of going to give the skeptical eyes on. I'm going to, don't know about that. Because he just said his testosterone was 840, and I'm assuming that means his free testosterone. I don't know what his free testosterone is, but I assume that 840 is almost impossible at his age. What is he? How old is John? I'm not saying it is impossible, but it's almost impossible. He's 46. Okay. Normal testosterone range is somewhere between 400 and 700 for the average male, I think. 400, 800 maybe. Maybe 9 if you're just like I'm talking average male though, like 4 to 7, 3 to 7. 840 at my age, at a 25-year-old's age, is a pretty high-end number. Like if you hit 1,000, you're at the very, very high end. 1,000, if you tested someone's blood as their adrenaline's going like right before they get into like a fight or something, they're probably at around 1,000. I've tested at around 800. Pretty much all my life. But the way that even Mike and Logan react to it tells me that these two either are super impressed by that number or don't hit those numbers themselves. I would say Mike is probably on the lower end, and I think Mike has even said he's on TRT. But Logan's reaction's kind of interesting.
It's 2024, bro, and I still am invisible.
My brother met him today.
Jake
Paul.
And I was so fucking happy to meet him. An inspiration to me. Like I was moved by the doc. Like I thought it was so vulnerable and great, and for someone, like I said, to start so late and achieve fluency and mastery so quickly is just a byproduct of hard work, effort. I'm drawn to passion and effort. I'm like, yo, he goes over here.
He's like, John,
hey, John. I'm like, I got to do the thing one more time.
Damn, he told me he was gonna do it. I wasn't sure.
I got to be invisible one more time.
No, but it's funny, man.
It's great.
That's dope to hear, though. John Cena says he's inspired by Jake Paul. That's not something that you would have heard out of my mouth or maybe anybody else's about 5 years ago. But it does show you like the respect that Jake has garnered from taking something seriously. It always comes back to this. It always comes back to it. Now, yes, the bit that he's talking about is all over the internet. I'll show you guys really quickly just so you know what he's talking about here.
John, bro. What's up, man? Yeah. Dude, I'm a huge fan.
No, man, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Jake, he's here. John, bro.
Did a lot of numbers, killed it on socials as it normally does. I've told you guys for a while now what I think about like Jake's whole journey and how people can change. I know that people don't like to hear that, but that's what Jake has done through this boxing stuff. It's changed him as a person, I think, just from meeting him, at least in my experience, talking with him, being around him. A bit of his mentality. I think it's changed the way he treats people. I think it's changed the way he's treated his own life. And to hear someone that I'm sure Logan and Jake looked up to, this has happened now how many times? John Cena, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, all these people that these guys look up to, or did look up to as fighters, wrestlers, players, whatever, turn around and turn the gun on them and say, hey, you inspire me. That too. That would be like me meeting Pat McAfee, right? Or when I met Ariel, and Ariel being like, man, I appreciate your show. Your show's amazing. That shit, that hits home for you because those are the people you look up to. Those are the people that made you want to embark on your journey. So to hear John say that about Jake is got to make him feel good. And it shows you too that this is not just some big act, right? Now, John doesn't know Jake personally, whatever, but they see it and they say it because they see what I guess it looks like. They see the realness in it. YouTubers are gaining a lot of respect from these guys. Logan, Jake, I'm sure if he met KSI, it'd be the same thing, but it's what hard work and dedication and showing up and trying will get you.
I want to ask about these two things. One was you were going to be a Marine, but didn't, but do a ton of impact work with the troops. And I want to ask about that, and also the fact that you are the most granted Make-A-Wish Foundation grantor of all time with over 650 kids. How do you choose your impact cases, and what does it mean to you?
Both of them chose me. Again, I'm less of a manifester and more of a card player. The cards get dealt. I look to see what I got, and then I'm like, all right, let's play it out. WWE has a great relationship with Make-A-Wish long before I came along. It's an excellent vehicle for the charity because you get one-on-one time with the families. You can get to know people, and then you get to go out and perform for them. But because it's entertainment, I can literally ask, like, hey, so what do you want to see tonight? And just put it into the show.
Wow.
And then I know where people are sitting, so I can truly curate an experience that is an escape. And that's why that piece of philanthropy exists in my life, because I was associated with one of the best experiences to do so. WWE also.
Oh, he's about to get emotional. I am too. Damn. This dude, listen, there's not many people in this world with the humility and the generosity and obviously the means to be able to do what John Cena's doing. This is amazing. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, from what I understand, is to help kids and I think mostly kids with either terminal illnesses, disabilities of some sort, mental, physical, whatever, experience their dreams, whatever that may be, in some sort of way, right? Some of them are with the WWE or with their favorite sports athletes or their favorite musician or actor or someone, something, a trip, whatever it is, that people can just have that one moment because obviously life hasn't dealt them the best card. John has done over 650 of those things, never boasted about it, never really said anything about it, doesn't put it on his socials like, look, I did another one. He just shows up, man, and he gives these people his time and his energy and his love, and it's just great to see, dude. Even in 2024, where everyone is me, my opportunity, my next thing, shut the fuck up, I gotta do this, it's my time, my. The one man that can be more selfish than anyone else in the WWE, he absolutely could be. What? No, I'm John Cena. What are you talking about? He doesn't do that. He does not do that. He gives people his time. Genuinely, not like I have to do this because I have to keep up the John Cena image, but genuinely, look at the interactions. I'll start crying if I play him here, but go back and look at the interactions he has with those kids. It is different to watch that kind of guy work, and it's inspiring, man.
I personally, and I told you this, was a little surprised by your decision not to make another John and have kids and bring more of this energy into the world, because I think we need more good people, more people with virtues like yourself. But you've decided, at least as it stands, you know, like you said in the car, the moment hasn't arrived yet and you haven't felt it. And I think you should reconsider and have a baby.
You know, I appreciate that, and I can understand everyone's perspective. I truly do appreciate that. I have a lot of joy and love in my life. I feel fulfilled, and I'm still curious. And I think until those priorities shift, I really do enjoy where I'm at.
John Cena doesn't have kids because he doesn't feel, I think he said this before, he doesn't feel like his life, he's in a spot where he could contribute the way he would like to having children. He even said it right there. I'm still curious. I'm still doing things. I'm still living life the way I want to explore and yada yada. That's another virtuous comment in my opinion. Not everybody has to have kids. And if you don't feel like you can be there, present, attentive, whatever it is that a parent needs to be, then you shouldn't. If you don't feel like you can be second to your kids and that your kids now are the main attention to you, you probably shouldn't be a parent.
Things you can't control. There was a moment, you, Dave Bautista, the Royal Rumble, you both, I don't know if it was on purpose, doesn't feel like it, went over the rope at the same exact time because of what appeared to be some sort of balance issue.
It was not Dave's fault. That was on me.
You over-rotated forward, and he stumbled backward.
Very, very bad at rotating backwards.
I see. Well, however,
my fault.
It transpired. You guys went over the rope at the Royal Rumble, which is the method of elimination.
By the way, that's all anyone's ever going to take away from this podcast. Cena's botched Royal Rumble spot. Go ahead.
That wasn't planned, I'm sure.
It was not.
I'm positive. And by the way, those are the moments that people are waiting for in wrestling because they're the best and can bring out the best moments. How did you recover from that in like the best way possible, and the refs raising your hand and his hand and your hand and his hand? And when a moment like that happens at an event that big with that many people watching live, what do you do?
Trust the process. So I know I fucked up. And
does anybody know, by the way, for those that are wondering what Logan is talking about here, John Cena, Batista, 2005 Royal Rumble, both go over the top rope at the same time. Last two people in the match, and unfortunately, instead of John, who was supposed to hit the floor first, hitting the floor first, they smack at the exact same time. But what's genius about this moment, and what I think they're going to get into in the discussion here, is this created a moment that wrestling actually ran with. One, because we had the SmackDown versus Raw era at the time. You had Batista representing Raw and John Cena representing SmackDown, having two winners essentially at that moment, even though it was changed in just a couple minutes here. Then what John Cena is going to refer to here as going with the flow or on the fly, what's supposed to happen next, that actually changes in a heartbeat as well, because then the big boss man comes out, Mr. Vince McMahon, and he does something that is etched in history forever.
What do you do?
Trust the process. So I know I fucked up, and we know that that's not the way it's supposed to go. So now we're in the unknown, and there is a sense of guidance. We're all a team out there. So our referee can be a guide for us. We're all on the same team. You begin to listen to the ref, and you begin to listen to the audience, and you feel how long you can milk a moment and see if they're giving you any direction. And then, as we trust the process, out comes Vince McMahon. And we're like, oh, great, this is going to be fixed. And he tears both of his quads getting into the ring. Woo! Oh, no.
What they're referring to once again is Vince McMahon sliding into the ring after, again, this whole fucking chaos of a situation. He's upset, actually, in real life, that his Royal Rumble plans have been ruined because John Cena fucked up the spot. He runs to the ring and jumps under the bottom rope, tearing both quads, and sits in the ring for about 5 minutes on his ass and directs traffic in front of like 50,000 people. It's one of the funniest moments in all of professional wrestling. One that's referred to, as you can see today, for good reason. It's fucking hilarious.
But still, to the testament of the work ethic and just the absolute gumption and dedication of Vince McMahon, with torn quads, he gets himself in the ring and gives us the guidance to finish the event. And because he is the authority figure in WWE, he can say, restart the match, and we restart it, and Dave wins. So just, oh man, what do I do now? Trust what's happening. Trust what's around you. Trust the people to guide you when you don't know what's going on. And then just be present in your surroundings. And yes, I did fuck up, but even then I knew, like, don't rush to do anything. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going on.
That's got to be one of the greatest moments in.
You got to have some real poise, though, man.
Vince, with 2 torn quads, was able to speak to us in understandable dialect and tell us exactly what to do. Like, it was, we had the best seat in the house, and it was incredible.
Insane. I'm watching this, and now that I'm in it,
Bro, I was gonna say, you gotta have some real poise if you're Vince McMahon. Do-rag Vince, yeah, bro. Do-rag Vince could not survive in today's era. But if you're Vince, if you're John, if you're Dave, you gotta have some real poise in front of 50,000 to not, like, I don't know how to put this, not break kayfabe, not show your hand, not tell the people that you fucked up. Right? Because people may know it, like that's not supposed to be the end of the match. And be able to, like he said, even speak with torn quads and be able to direct traffic and make this thing look somewhat serviceable after a complete and utter fuck up. That's pretty amazing, dude.
So you saw The Rock's return recently?
I did.
When he went out there and he said, "You think I should sit at the head of the table?" Do you think he had that line written on his wrist?
Oh,
no,
buddy.
Because one thing I know about Dwayne.
Logan tried to take a shot there, which is fair play. It's funny. But we all know that Logan is not in a good place with his, I guess, somewhat relationship with The Rock. Listen, it's clear. Logan does not like that The Rock did not associate with him after Japan. Right? That's a salty move, but it comes out of a place where Logan just wants the attention of The Rock. That's why he said that. And John did not go for it at all. Look at that.
No. Because one thing I know about Dwayne, he never makes the same mistake twice.
Did he know you were going to do that?
I didn't know I was going to do that.
No way.
No, I didn't know I was going to do that. It was one of those things where it happened in last minute. And looking back at it, it was fucking stupid because we have the biggest star in the world coming back when they don't need to. Like, giving our product ratings, giving our product relevancy, getting people to talk about us. And what do?
You smoked him.
No. Amateur? Like, no, that's not it. The guy is going a million different directions.
Dang. Cena shuts him down again. Y'all see that? Logan is trying to be like, yeah, you owned him, which, to be fair, was the reaction. Like, yeah, Cena fucking took that shit. But John obviously regrets it. Obviously. And for reasons I think he's going to lay out here.
Probably flew in from God knows where, working a full day, and I now know what that feels like. And just wants to do the best he can. I don't blame him for that. I blame myself for taking advantage of that. And a professional would have been like, hey, before you go out there, if you do go out there like that, I'm going to use it. That's a professional. I had a stupid rookie move about use it. That's not how we trust each other in there. That's not how that works.
I don't see that perspective.
Okay, that's cool. I get it. And by the way,
I thought it was great as an entertainment fan.
From an entertainment standpoint, objective achieved. Gained interest. Box office was crazy.
Yep.
Set pay-per-view buy rates. Sometimes in the fight game, it gets a little gray.
Yeah.
But we're all on the fucking same team out there, man. And you got to have trust.
What if he said
In
no?
a boxing ring, then I don't use it.
What Logan is not understanding and what John is trying to tell him is that Logan is looking at this situation as an entertainment spectacle, right? Whatever it takes, by any means necessary, draw eyes. That is very much the YouTuber way of doing business, right? Don't ask permission, ask forgiveness. This is how a lot of people, including Logan, and to be fair, including John, because John did this, gained notoriety and gained popularity. As many eyes as possible by any means necessary. The problem is what Logan sees from a fan perspective, and to be honest, a lot of people will agree with Logan because at the end of the day, it wasn't super harmful, but it made a change in the balance between The Rock and John Cena at that moment. For that point to be driven home, it showed people, at least the way I read it, that John was on The Rock's level. Not that John was just the guy because The Rock left and John was just there. But when The Rock came back and they went face to face, John got the better of him. Now, again, what John's saying is true as well. The Rock isn't in there full time. He doesn't have to come back and do this feud with John Cena. He doesn't have to come back at all. And he probably wasn't prepared, which is why I wrote the shit down. He probably was a little nervous after not doing that for very long and going in against John, who was the biggest star in the company at that point. And knowing that this was going to be one of the bigger business movers of all time, and The Rock had a little bit of a crutch. John should have, in this business where you are both on the same team, as John's kept referring to, he should have either asked The Rock about it or not done it, because what he did is called what's called going into business for yourself. In the wrestling business, you're there to make money together. You don't bury someone to pick yourself up, at least not in front of the cameras, not like that. Something that I don't know that Logan has done to anyone, but this is a good lesson for him in this business. It's not drama, beefs, rap, diss tracks, videos back and forth, expose this, do that. It's not. It's not what this is.
Was he pissed?
He was. And justifiably so.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy who's got his heart in it. Dude, he still comes back, bro.
Yeah.
And the people go crazy.
Crazy.
Yep.
He's just so good.
No kidding. Damn. So inside, I'm thinking, man, if I can get under his skin, I can get him back. I could have got him back a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be a dick about it, bro.
Yeah.
So, my bad.
Must be crazy to piss off The Rock. I can only imagine.
It was a little gamey there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Look at Logan.
Yeah. We went through a nice stretch where we just didn't like each other. If you pissed him off too, right?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Have you?
No.
You're twiddling your thumbs over there. What do you do?
I don't.
Oh, you pissed off The Rock?
Come on, bro.
What happened, man?
Nah, it's nothing. Nah, it's nothing.
No, what happened, man?
That's the stupidest thing. Mike's like, nah, it's nothing. You guys wanted to bring it up when John's there. We're gonna get into this thing with Logan and The Rock here. I want to see how Logan addresses this time, because when he talked about this on True Geordie's show, it felt like Logan was upset with The Rock for not being there for him when he made a grave, awful, terrible decision. And I think he felt like people owed him something, and people did not owe him anything. I wonder if his tone has switched about this.
I told you in the car, that you and Dwayne.
What is this
I
camera?
think we're like two people I definitely looked up to a lot when I'm trying to figure out the blueprint for my career that didn't exist. Dwayne especially, my idol,
Dude's in his own universe.
my hero,
Like, in his own universe.
Dent the universe. He was doing it, and to the highest degree. I wanted to be like Dwayne. So eventually, in the same way I met you today, one day I met Dwayne. He was just as cool in person as I thought he was on TV. He's awesome. Made content together, went mega viral, 70 million views, 50 million views. Linked up a couple times. Visited him on set of Ballers. Like, I would have considered us acquaintances at least,
Kind of like me and Dua Lipa.
Kind of like you and Dua Lipa. Maybe even closer, dude.
I would say closer.
Closer.
I would say closer. We're just coworkers.
He was just great. And then and then Japan happened. And I could go into so much depth about
Shout out Dua Lipa. Yeah.
my remorse and the place that I was in and the faults that I made at that time in my life. And I had to really rewire my brain and backtrack and ask myself like how I let that happen and what went wrong in my life where like I thought that was okay. And in that process, I did a lot of damage, and it wasn't something that was on the forefront of my mind. And I've had to do a tremendous amount of therapy and figure out like what happened in my life that was so traumatic or didn't happen where that I did that. And DJ was one of the people I hurt because of his mother's experience, and that's his experience to tell, and I'm not going to share it, but like I hurt him so much so that he basically wanted nothing to do with me, and rightfully so. You know, I let down my hero, and he requested that I remove all the content we've ever done together and basically kicked me to the curb. I would have done the same thing. Guy in his position doesn't want to be affiliated with a person who did something as reprehensible as that. And I remember it being such a low moment because like, I knew I let myself down. I knew I let my fans down. I knew I let my family down. But my idol too, man, it just stung so bad. And it wasn't like I got the call from him. Got it from the publicist. And it's not like he did anything wrong. It just like, I think my ego told myself that I'm going to fucking remember that. And if I ever become great one day like you, I'm going to remember this. And I'm going to remember the way I was discarded. And again, rightfully so. But I don't think I've ever been really able to like truly let go of that. And I got a lot of stuff to work through, I think, in terms of that. And I'm not even sure like where to go from here in terms of reconciliation. Yeah, I don't know. And we're kind of like swimming in the same world a little bit, you know, with the WWE. And I see him coming back here and there, and I know we're going to cross paths, and I just wonder how I'm going to handle it.
Before John answers, let's talk about this. That was a lot, man. Woo. So this is interesting how life works, man, because I will say this, you're seeing a lot of growth, and I'm not a fucking psychologist in any way, but it doesn't take a fireman, a man that deals with fire to see fire on roof and say that house is burning, right? When I look at Logan here, I do look at a guy that has a lot of remorse for what he did, a guy that truly just wants to have a relationship with his idol that he once had. And where I did see what he's talking about, a guy that was like, had that fuck you attitude, like, yeah, man, fuck you. You ditched me when I was at my lowest. Watch when I get to the top. Watch what happens when I get there. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I see a guy that just wants to be friends with The Rock. You know what I mean? I see a guy that just wants to be back in the good graces of his idol. The unfortunate truth for Logan, and I don't know that this is ever always going to be the case, but sometimes if you mess up, and I'm not sure, it'll probably be reconciled and it'll be all hunky dory. But sometimes when you mess up, and this is something for me too, man, I have a real hard time letting go of things. Real hard time. There are times in life where you cannot fix it. Maybe that's why I'm holding this fucking screwdriver. Maybe this moment for me is the awakening. The problem that Logan has had is that he had a good thing with his idol, the person he looked up to the most, the man he modeled his game after, his life after, you could say, to be the biggest and best entertainer in the world that wants nothing to do with him. And the reason, by the way, he was talking about The Rock's mom attempted to take her own life. Let's just say it straight up. So it hit close to home when Logan did the unspeakable acts that he did in Japan. So obviously The Rock wanted nothing to do with him. And then, it probably, like he said, stung even worse when The Rock couldn't even call him to tell him that it was all through a publicist and that was it. And this whole time he's been wanting to try to fix it. It's probably like he's showing it's weighing on him. He's getting emotional. It's weighing on him. And now that he's with the WWE, I would say it probably is fixable, but that's not under Logan's control at this point, right? Like if anyone is going to mend that bridge, it may be a third party like a John Cena, but it's ultimately going to have to be up to The Rock whether he wants to associate with Logan at all, if he wants to have a relationship, if he wants to even fix things, if things to him even need to be fixed. And that is life. 100%. I don't have anywhere near that sort of experience. that Logan is talking about. So I can't imagine how much he's upset with it and how much it's hurt him. You know, time is the big healer. So I think it probably can be fixed. Whatever. If it is, it is. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Who cares? I mean, he cares, but I don't. I think it'll be all right. But I can understand the wanting to fix things part. I do like that Logan is addressing it this way, where it's like, yeah, dude, I get where he was coming from. I'm just sad about
May
it.
with an anecdote. You told me a story earlier today about one of the toughest times in your recent life, where your fiance was put in a position that made her uncomfortable and you uncomfortable by a certain human being. And you needed to keep your sanity about you and not let your emotions take over. Do you remember this story? What did you do?
Man said he cares. I don't. That was not necessary. I didn't mean it to sound like that, and that's why I said it. I was like, oh shit. I didn't mean it to sound like that.
You needed to keep your sanity about you and not let your emotions take over. Do you remember this story? What did you do?
Forgave him.
Okay. What I'm hearing is you made a poor decision, and you had to be accountable for that poor decision. You're not alone. We've all done that. And in the process, you were very hurt by someone that you cared about. And I see your lens. This is what I'm hearing. You understand that it might not have been as impactful for him as it was for you, but it really got to you. I'm not neither right or wrong. It's just my 2 cents. Take it or throw it back. I think it starts with your ability to forgive. And if you can get yourself to a place where you honestly can say, I forgive, then I think you can begin the foundation to move forward. You don't have to, I'm not saying forget. Forgiveness and forgetfulness are two different things. But I think if you can bring yourself to a position where you can forgive someone, you can begin to move forward.
Is he saying that he should forgive The Rock? Because I know that John's trying to spit here, but if he's trying to say that he should forgive The Rock, I mean, there shouldn't be any, what The Rock got to apologize. In this scenario, Logan should be seeking the forgiveness here. The Rock ain't do nothing wrong, brother.
I think I have an ego problem. It's like,
Okay.
kind of hard. I don't know why. It's like I don't know. I can't do it without having a conversation with him. That's, I think, part of this.
Yeah, I think John is trying to, in real time, piece together what the severity of the situations are, and he feels, like John is like reacting as if Logan has any grounds to forgive anybody is Logan's responsibility. Nope, that's not how this is supposed to work.
Puzzle, and like I don't know if I'm ready for that. To be honest with you,
And you don't have to be. Forgiveness has to come on your own terms, dude.
it's here. It'll come. I have nothing against Dwayne. He didn't make any wrong decisions. It was
Exactly.
all me. I think part of it is I fucking hate myself for letting him down, and it's like
That's
that
it.
anger that I have,
That's it.
even just against myself, was turned into this drive that I told myself I'm gonna be so successful that I don't need your approval or validation or acquaintance.
There it is.
I'm gonna do this on my own, with or without you by my side.
Okay, that's very fair. But if you can say to me that you were hurt because you let him down, why can't you say that to him? What have you got to lose?
I will. I have to have the conversation with him before I fully close this loop. I can't just say it right now. I need to.
No, I understand that, but you just said it to me.
Yeah.
Cena therapist? W.
And then
I told you John's voice is ASMR, dude. Told you.
I applaud you for being able to share all this, because that, by the way, that's deep. That's deep work. But I think you just starting there.
Yeah.
I was wrecked because I let you down, man.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to minimize Dwayne's role in the situation, but let's take him and substitute your dad or someone else that you look up to.
Yeah.
You being able to
Let's talk about GP.
find the strength to say, I know I let you down, and that
How's he feel about all this?
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
I know. I need you to be a dad, John. So again, if you want to reconsider that sperm donation, like I need more time.
Like I said,
Dog, how am I going to bring up GP and the first thing in chat is GP needs to be locked up? That is Logan Paul and John Cena's one-on-one. Listen, I know this is a long video, Leo. I am sorry. You are the man, pots and pans. But the whole thing I took away from this, honestly, is that John Cena is a one-of-one human being for multiple reasons. He is one of the best entertainers in the world, one of the best actors right now in the world, but one of the most humble, giving, selfless people in a world full of selfish people that you could ever imagine. His words of wisdom, his ASMR voice, his ability to just be a guy, just to be a regular dude, and also to give Logan Paul, who, let's be honest, is on a level where most creators, most superstars are not going to listen to many people. And maybe is why Logan needs people like John Cena around him to be able to give him advice, be able to tell him or coach him or father figure him into a better mindset about the things that have to do with his ego or whatever that Logan needs that he's not going to get from regular people, because quite frankly, it doesn't seem like Logan will listen to some of those people, and it seems like he'll listen to John Cena. Honestly, I came out of this with a better perspective on Logan. I think it's a cool thing for him to be, like I said, around people like John. John's a good influence on everybody. But the reality is, this podcast was fucking cool. Straight up. Don't care what you think about Logan. Straight up, this shit was cool. And the fact that Logan got him on here to do this podcast, you got to give it up. Fair play, because John doesn't do a lot of these. He doesn't do these sit downs like this. And this felt like a conversation more so than like, hey, let's do an interview to plug this and do that. It felt like people having a conversation. So I fuck with it. You guys let me know down below what you think about Logan's Impaulsive deal here and having John on the show, how much it means to y'all, or your biggest takeaway, really. You guys let me know. By the way, while you're down there in the comments, make sure you check out that breakdownshop.com. Grab that Valentine's Day drop. It's going to be out hopefully sooner than later. But what happens with Logan? Is he going to be in the Royal Rumble? Is John Cena going to make an appearance? I don't have those answers, but this Saturday live here on Twitch, Wade's World, actually twitch.tv/TheWadeConcept, guess we'll find out.